Hello, everyone, and welcome to D&D News. I am Greg Tito, and I'm here to say hi. What's going on? This is where we talk all about D&D stuff. I have just got my mug of coffee, and I am ready to consume it with all of you on this fine hour on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving here in the United States. What do you mean? What happened to my hair? Now I got to make sure it's all working. What do you think? Is that better? Uh, it's still happening. It's still there. I wasn't sure if that's what Bana UK you were talking about. If you were talking about my hair or someone else's hair. Hi. It's Tuesday. I love coming in and doing these D&D newses like I always do. But it is a bit of a light week here in the Wizards office, I will say. A lot of folks are taking the well allotted PTO time that they have on this week just to chill it out. A lot of it has to do with the Seattle Public Schools actually has the entire week off if you're in elementary school. So my kids have this entire week gallivanting at home. But yeah, I wanted to come in. Sorry if my hair looks different. You know what? Actually, it's probably just I need a haircut. I need to make it less weighty. When it gets too long, the spiky nature it means it falls down. So apologies there. Also, the lighting in here is a little bit different than it normally is, as is the sound. So let me know if we need to shift over to everything. As I was saying, there's less people in the office today. So Pelham Green is not here. We had some awesome folk from the magic side of things. Adam Contini came in and got a lot of all this set up for me. But it's a little bit different. Just throwing it out there. You might notice some weird things. Hi, everybody. Hi, Jack. Yeah. You hate haircuts? Why do you hate haircuts? Nothing wrong with haircuts. I like them. It's hard to schedule more than anything else. Usually I end up doing it on a long lunch break, and then I get pho because there's a pho place right next to the haircut place that I go to. So that's usually how I reward myself for having to endure driving in a car away from the Wizard's office. Yes. So, even though it is a light week here, there's still a lot going on in Dungeons and Dragons. I wanted to start off. I know it's always hard for me to sometimes tout my own accomplishments, but there's something that really cool came in. If you work at Wizards of the Coast, one thing that has been an internal award given out by the president of the company, and it's called a Heroes of the Realm Award. And last year, in 2018, I, along with 7 other folks from the Dungeons and Dragons, as well as the magic side of things, won a Heroes of the Realm Award for influencer marketing was the bucket that it was held under. But a lot of it had to do with us putting together D&D Live, as well as creating an atmosphere of fun types of streaming things. A lot of it has to do with this program right here that you're watching, as well as all the others here on the D&D Twitch channel. That was under the bucket of influencer marketing. And then on the magic side, my colleagues like Michelle Sutterfield, Brian Perry, Nate Price, Chick Jarrett, they were doing amazing work getting folks to play Arena, Magic the Gathering Arena, and their program there. And so both groups won that award. All 8 of us designed a magic card. That's part of the really fun part. We had a little bit of a celebratory dinner. Actually, we just had that dinner last weekend. So even though we won the award a year ago, we just now had a celebratory dinner at Aqua by El Gaucho here in Seattle on the Puget Sound, and it was glorious. But the other big part of that reward is the ability to design a magic card. And so let me show you how we designed it. We definitely went a little bit more D&D themed with the mechanics here. I'm going to try and get it so that you guys can see it and potentially read it there. Okay, there you go. We're in focus. So Karis and the Beholder. The idea was to make this about what we were doing, right? So about influencer marketing, right? The Karis is the name of this gold dragon who, at one point, the stream of its breath weapon was meant to be the stream of many eyes coming out of it. And then the Beholder is, even though it's a monster in Dungeons and Dragons, it is in this idea meant to be those who watch streams or watch other people do gaming content. The beholder is you. It is the audience. So as you can kind of see from this artwork, which was amazingly done by Joe Slucher. Apologies if I mangled that name. But you can see it's from the perspective of a beholder with the eye stalks around it, observing what Karis was doing. And so if you kind of think about the art order that we gave for this, it was a gold dragon in all of its glory, streaming its breath weapon of content out at you all, and the beholder viewing it and absorbing it and turning it into that. But the mechanics are pretty interesting and fun. We also wanted those thematically to match what we are doing as influencer marketers. You can see the 20 toughness is something that you don't see pretty much ever in Magic. But it was, leaned into the D20 kind of idea for things for Dungeons and Dragons. And the mechanic here is that at the beginning of your upkeep, which is basically when your turn starts, and I need to make sure I'm reading this correctly. You create a white 1/1 white human creature token, and you make a charisma check. So that means you roll a d20. If you get 11 or plus, or higher than that, and if you add up all of the creatures that you control at the same time, you get a +1/+1 counter on each of those creatures. If you get a natural 20, each non-legendary creature you control, you create a token that is a copy of each one of those creatures. So basically, you're potentially doubling your audience each time you roll that charisma check, but at the very least, each turn, your audience will continue to grow and eventually be able to overwhelm your opponent in the game of Magic the Gathering. Very fun stuff. There's only 8 of these cards in existence. I don't believe it's legal in any type of actual tournament play, but I am desperately anxious to figure out a way to whip this out in a casual setting and have this card run the table. It should be pretty fun. Hope you like it. Hope you like the design. I think the artwork is very cool. Again, using a gold dragon as the focus is a stroke of genius. I love the gold dragons as the chromatically nice one and all powerful. So that's it. Woe to you if you ever meet up with one of the 8 of us who have this dragon card, the Dragon Eye Wizard card. It's got a lot of keywords in there, so that might even interact with some other fun things if I was so inclined to do it. And it's got our names down at the bottom. I think that's also really cool. A little fun tidbit. We handed these out before we knew that there was unique names printed on each one of these cards. So I had someone else's, and we had to basically mix and match and make sure everybody had the same one going on there too. But definitely enjoyed it. Putting it together, the process was super fun. I think 5 mana is not outrageous, so I might actually be able to get it all out there. So that's right. Ooh, and as Snap just did, you're right. I can play that in a game with my daughter and be like, hey, I made this card. It's official. You just got bested. Of course, the problem with that, though, is then she'll realize how valuable it is and then try to get it into one of her decks, which she inadvertently brings to the schoolyard, and then all of a sudden I lose that card for various reasons. So, maybe I don't want to do that. But part of me seems like it's really fun. And then speaking of gold and Gold Dragon, part of the reason we won this award last year was that the Stream of Many Eyes that introduced the Waterdeep Dragon Heist story from 2018 won a Marcom Award, a Platinum Marcom Award for an experiential physical event. We submitted the D&D Live 2019 The Descent for that same thing, and we won a Gold Marcom Award this year, which is fantastic. This is what a Gold Marcom Award looks like. It comes in a very fancy looking box. Here it is, and it kind of matches its wonderful gold nature thing here. Da-da-da. I'm sensing a trend that everything's coming up gold for D&D. What do you think? Huh? Pretty nice looking. Thank you to everyone who participated in D&D Live 2019 The Descent, whether it was through being a part of the live event, showing up in costume. I see a lot of folks here in the chat who were there at the event and went above and beyond. So thank you to all of you, but more importantly, thank you to everyone who watched it at home and participated in the fun of making a D&D event a truly global thing through viewing what we were presenting and getting people excited about the next storyline that we'll be jumping into. We are very, very busy working on what we're going to do for 2020. Got no news on that. I know some folks have been clamoring and asking for dates and whatnot, but nothing is ready to be announced at this point. But as soon as we know, we will make sure to let you know, and I will definitely be touting the word here on D&D News about that going forward. What to move on to? Well, I got a couple of physical things that I wanted to make sure and show you. Maybe I'll even eat some of them. That's right, I will be eating things. This will be less gross. So my friend and colleague Chris Lindsay made some soul coins. We brought these soul coins to D&D Live 2019 The Descent, and if you are the lucky recipient of a Platinum Edition box from Beadle and Grimm's, you have a larger version of these soul coins. But Chris Lindsay took the amazing idea to make chocolate soul coins. So we have a silver/platinum version and a red version here. I believe the red is milk chocolate. Nope. Yes, it is. Yeah. The red is milk chocolate. It's a milk chocolate soul coin, which I found super, super awesome. And I've already eaten way too many of these. But yeah, then you can kind of see the chocolate symbol of ball there, as well as the soul coin on the other side. Very delicious. This soul is so good. It's the soul of a paladin. Very, very delicious. That was milk chocolate, not a dark chocolate. So some people don't like dark chocolate, so I've been trying to trade for as many of them as I can. Cheers to that. Yeah, exactly. Happy early Hanukkah with the chocolate coins. Oh no, I love it. That soul. I just feel like I can rev my engines of my Infernal War Machine much farther now. Delicious. Okay. So I will get to press stuff right about now. So we mentioned the New York Times did an awesome article, and we actually have the physical print version here. Let me get it open for you so that you can kind of see what it's like in case you didn't get to see it on the stands. But it is always amazing to see something that I work on in actual print form here for Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm gonna doing that here. This is why newspapers aren't a thing anymore, is because they do stuff like this. So here it is. Look at that. In the New York Times in real paper form, Rivals of Waterdeep, showing it off, making things happen. Love it. This article by Ethan Gilsdorf was a wonderful testament to everything that we're doing for Dungeons and Dragons, and I really appreciated seeing it. And I hope those of you who may have relatives or friends who don't know exactly what's going on in the D&D world, you were able to point to this as yet another data point that D&D is in fact everywhere. So hopefully that makes sense. And then one little fun thing, I think the editors of the New York Times really know who their audience is because they put an article about gaming next to the gaming page where all the crosswords and everything are happening. So they know it. They know what's happening. They know their audience for sure. So yeah, this was from last Friday's? No, wait, yeah, November 15th, which was, oddly enough, my wedding anniversary. So a red letter day for Dungeons & Dragons as well as for me. Very fun stuff. That is always very cool. And then as far as other fun press that was happening, here, let me see whether we got it here going on. So let me show you some of the things. So our friends at Forbes did an amazing look into a look inside D&D 5th Edition's Return to Eberron. They call it a great, compact, but flavorful guide to this rich setting. Yes, check that out from Forbes. Our friends at Inverse, and I'm not sure that this is what that is. Yes. Mentioned how the Artificer class is in Eberron, rising from the last war, interviewing Jeremy Crawford about the creator of that. In a world shaped equally by science and magic, there's no better herald than the Artificer. Is anybody getting else some like Silver Surfer vibes from that quote? Or maybe it's just me, or maybe it's just the fact that I just watched the animated thing of Silver Surfer on Disney Plus. But the idea of there being a herald of this combination of magic and technology sounds pretty fun. The other fun stuff that's going on is here on Venture Beat, talking about the amazing Jason Wilson and his gloriously geeky gift guide for you geezer geeks in your life. They mentioned the Sapphire Anniversary dice set, a fantastic gift. They're stunning. Thank you for Jason putting that on our guide there, but something that's very important for you all. We postponed the sale of the Sapphire Anniversary dice set. It was set for last week, and we wanted to make sure that everything around ordering and making that purchase was awesome for you, the consumer. So we are holding that until December 12th. That is when it will go on sale. It'll go on a little bit earlier, 9 a.m. Pacific time on December 12th. So you can mark your calendars for that date. That is when you will be able to purchase the D&D, and I'm trying to find the video for it. So that's pretty cool, as well as, and you can see it, a Sapphire Dragon in your game. So all of that is available for $299.99 starting on December 12th at 9 a.m. Pacific time. We're excited about that. If you are too, make sure to mark your calendars for that time. We'll, of course, be announcing more about that when we get closer to that date, but it's going to be pretty exciting. So check it out. We, again, just want to make sure everybody had a wonderful experience getting those dice, and so we it took a little bit more time to get all of our ducks in a row and make that happen. So that's happening on December 12th. Look for it. There's also a video too, and this video can't go wrong. I wanted to show this real quick because it looks really good. I don't think I can talk over it, but here, take a quick look. I just want to make sure you guys saw that shot with the light going back and forth there. That makes the lab-grown Sapphire there super, I don't know, it just pops for me. I don't know. You can see all the facets. It looks really cool. So that's pretty exciting. And I wanted to shout out one more thing. Our partner at IGN made 2 parts of a Dungeons & Dragons versus Rick and Morty playthrough. This is part 2, was just posted very soon. They had this to say about it. It was an insane dungeon, climbing a giant butt, meeting some familiar faces, and helping a new friend. All of preview kind of adventures for these things seemed really awesome for Rick and Morty. They make me laugh. I enjoyed them thoroughly, and makes me want to take this box set, which is available now everywhere in North America, to any kind of family gathering and get people into playing the Dungeons & Dragons kind of meta nature of what it's like to play as Rick, as the Dungeon Master, or as Morty, as his D&D character. It's super fun. And if you're interested in finding out what it's like, you can see the event that Kate Welch Dungeon Mastered as Rick, along with some other familiar faces, including folks from Acquisitions Incorporated, the C Team, Tales from the Mist, as well as Jim Zub making his debut as Morty, as a 13-year-old boy. So that was super fun. That's on our YouTube channel, the D&D YouTube channel. Watch that in its entirety now, but go ahead and watch the IGN for a different flavor of what it's like bringing that box set to life. All right. One thing I also want to make sure everyone is aware, Dungeons and Tombs, the third Young Adventurer's Guide, is available now. That's right. You can get this and give it to someone who will absorb it in all of its glory. My daughter is 8. She's a voracious reader of all types of things, including D&D books. And I, for some reason, even though we've been talking about these Young Adventurers Guides for a long time, I hadn't given her one of the first ones, the Warriors and Weapons. But just this week, I did. I was like, oh, you should check this out. And all of a sudden, she is reading through each one of the entries, being like, did you know, Dad, did you know that elves can live up to 800 years? Did you know that turtles, and all of a sudden she just goes through all of these facts about the fun things of D&D lore and everything involved. So this is pretty cool. This one is Dungeons and Tombs. Again, this is out today, so you can find it in stores now, and it details kind of some legendary dungeons here on the inner cover, right? Talking about Chult, talking about Iron Slag, the Sea Ghost, Temple of Elemental Evil, what's happening in Undermountain. It goes through and talks about encounters that you might get into, or bits of lore around the Ravenloft or Castle Ravenloft that Strahd is living, as well as the bestiary of some dungeon monsters such as Lizard Folk, the Mimic, Flame Skull, the Basilisk, the different oozes. I mean, this is a great way to kind of introduce people into all the different oozes that are out there. Here, I'm going to go right to the ooze thing. One of the coolest things about these Young Adventurers Guides is that they didn't use stock artwork. They commissioned all brand new artwork for depictions of our monsters, as well as our dungeons, and I think it's really, really good for it. And here's, what's up with the black pudding? What does a gelatinous cube look like, and what is it different? How is it different than the black pudding from the ochre jelly and the gray ooze? Things you will only learn about in Dungeons and Dragons, or in these Young Adventurers Guides. I also love that we're doing Dungeon Master in training type things here about how to get all types of people to create their own dungeons and what it might mean for you. So, you want to think about populating your dungeon, the ecology, what the inhabitants might be like, whether or not there's a beholder in it, as well as some goblins. It's so good. Here's, and I think on map making and how to use graph paper to chart out your dungeon and what it might look like. I think I'm agreeing with someone. I forgot who it was in chat here who said that this one might be a better way to start. But I think you might be right. I think that's really cool. It's a good way to get folks into what's going on. I actually really love this. I've never seen this image before, but look at this. It is Dungeons & Dragons characters playing Dungeons & Dragons. You can see the Tabaxi, the half-orc, the elf, the Dungeon Master there. That's a really cool image. It reminds me it's kind of meta there, but I also love that the players are just laughing at each other and having fun. And then the poor Dungeon Master, is like, come on, you guys, get back to the dungeon. I love it. Goblins and Gizzards. Tomb of Yikes. Yes, thank you, Mr. Have a Nice Day. I agree, Ashley Warlock. I would totally buy that as a poster. It's got elements of like dogs playing poker and or dogs playing D&D in there too. I love it. Oh wait, what are you saying, Tyler Boyce? I missed that. Now I want to see. Was this image there in the thing? Now I've got to check it out. Oh my gosh, where is it? I'm flipping back and forth and not finding it. Being like a true dungeon master here. Wait, I'm not seeing that. What are you talking about? Where's the cover? What were you trying to say? And in the book, in the photo, is Dungeons and Tombs. It's so meta, but it's not there. I don't see it there. Am I crazy? Maybe you're just saying that that one of those generic books are the ones, and for that I applaud you, because I love doing stuff like that too. One of my favorite details of the standard cover of Volos Guide to Monsters. I don't know if you guys know this. I like dropping new knowledge in case it's new, but if it's one you already knew, just roll with it. Say you knew. Anyway. But on the standard cover for Volos Guide to Monsters, the character is standing there in the front, and he's got a book. And if you look at the cover of the book that is there, it actually looks like the special edition or the alternative cover edition that was only available in game stores for Volos Guide to Monsters. And I love that. Yeah, I know. I get it now. Very fun stuff. I love all that. And the more things that we do that connect all those dots between our products, I think is super fun. All right. Some more fun things before we get to D&D Rewind. I'm a little bit late already, but I wanted to at least show these off. Dun, dun, dun. These are two covers for issue 3 of Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons. These are written by Jim Zub and art by Troy Little, as well as Ito and Crank doing, I don't know, pencils and colors. Is that how you say it? Inks and colors? Great stuff. I love the new covers. I love how there's alternate covers for a lot of these different ones, and they bring forth different D&D ideas in here. This is, of course, a take on the Morton Kanan's Tome of Foes cover, as well as this one is having a pretty fancy-looking owlbear there, of a snowy owlbear looking like, and very, very, very fun looking. So issue 3, I believe, is out in stores now. If not, it will be very soon. And then we've got issue 4 to kind of close out that arc. I believe there's only 4 issues in that arc. I could be wrong. But of course, we will have news about trades coming out for those very soon. All right, so it is nigh on time for some D&D Rewind. You guys ready? This is the point where we play D&D Rewind, which recaps some of the most amazing, funniest, most memorable moments from D&D roleplay shows here on twitch.tv/D&D. And I can't wait to share it with you. So let me push some buttons and get going with this week's D&D Rewind.
And so Astaroth is going to step forward and holding up his axe bane to like help guide him through it, because it always helps him do stuff. Mm-hmm. He's going to be like, "Look, I know a little bit about what it means to be the sort of thing you are. And no matter how far you've fallen, you remember what it used to feel like to mean something good. And I know that can't all be gone. All right? I know that deep down inside you there's still a piece of that angel left. Because I'm friends with angels. And I've got proof of that."
Oh my god, that's so perfect.
Paper.
Go ahead and roll your insight. Add advantage because you've got papers.
God damn.
I love it so much.
You storm in and move in between the...
Never fear, lady!
The entangled elfin woman and the trees react to you by
We have brought
rearing
your
up.
husband!
Oh, great,
save
she
you.
says.
You are so much on my level. I like it.
Okay. Zan, you are second
Yes.
in initiative order.
Okay, I will storm to my inevitable demise by moving up as close as I can, probably. So I can at least see them.
2, 3, 4, 5. You can go up the stairs, and then if you use your action for another move, you can get up to here.
I want to use some of my movement to hold my hands on like the banister in the wall and stamp my feet like I'm loads of people coming up the stairs.
Yeah, very nice. Good, I like it.
And then I'll move over to the others. And,
Okay. Downstairs, since now there's nobody down here, you hear a brief cry of surprise and then a wet gurgling sound from downstairs.
Philaster.
And then Thirstwell back upstairs. Thirstwell looks at the imps and he says, well, boys, looks like we're cornered. Hold them off for me. And he turns and he pulls aside the shutters.
Oh, no!
And he yanks his windows open and he looks outside and he looks down at the ground and he's like, okay, Thirstwell, 1, 2, and he jumps out the window and he falls 10 feet.
I mean, I'm gonna get murdered by imps, but
and takes 10 damage, and thus ends the life of Thirstwell Van Thimp.
And if he summoned all the imps,
and then all the imps disappear.
I shall stride forward, big strides for a pickle, and strike at the ankles.
Are you donning your armor at this moment?
You see that from the bumpy pores of the pickle, magical metal begins to form, encasing the pickle in its entirety, with 2 eye slits open.
Which looks unusually like aluminum foil.
I peer out with an intense stare and strike down my wooden opponent.
Felice goes around behind her.
Okay.
It's like, just pours on the sweetness.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry to have doubted you, honey. I'm outside. We got some fresh air. I feel so much better. So she kind of rubs her shoulders.
Right.
And then she puts her in a chokehold and asks for the truth.
So, we're going to do contested strength.
Felice ain't no fool.
Just the way you described. So good.
What am I
contested
adding?
Strength.
So my 13.
So with a 21, Alex.
She would have beat me anyway.
Right, Alex grabs Celise and flips her over the table.
Oh my God.
And knocks over some of the fruit, and she laughs. You almost got me that time. That was fun.
It's like a love tap.
We haven't played for it in a while. That was
The important thing is that there is no point in the deal for us to return to the material plane being upheld if we are all dead. So,
we should never have stolen the stupid shield in the first place. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, and is that useful?
Seemed like a good idea at the time, is what I'm saying.
Nazaya, I love you, but there's no way to say we should not have done it. We did it, we're here.
Yes, well, if it wasn't for that band
I understand that you don't understand
it wasn't for those
how
pesky
nice
sailors.
it would be after a life spent in meditation and silence to just vent.
No, I get it. You can vent away, but just know that it is not helpful. If it is helpful for you...
I know it's not helpful! Nothing here is helpful! You are not helpful!
Would you like some...
I'm gonna get in the truck. You guys can follow me if you like, but we've got to go.
I'm going with Thorn.
As you come out, you kind of hear... three-string shot, you almost ready?
Yeah,
I'm putting the final touches on mine. Can't wait for you to see it.
Little change of plans, though.
No kidding.
We're gonna get the stone.
We're gonna get the stone.
Yeah.
It's on the ship.
Yeah.
And me and you were just gonna walk up and get it.
Look at your outfit. He's yelling, like talking through the door.
Harold looks miserable on the outside, like trying to think of how he can make this work. Yeah, and then we're gonna. It's just me and you doing this?
Less people, more covert. Come on, Harold.
Man, I don't know about this, man. I don't know
You
about
used to talk about it all the time. And he walks out.
Harold puts on the confidence again.
As he walks out, you see that he too is wearing dark colors.
Dark crimson.
Dark plum. And you see a doublet and a hood that hangs down real low and comes to 2 points. And as he looks up, you see Three Strings' face as he puts on a mask that's porcelain white.
No. No.
And has no mouth. Ha. Ha. Ha.
And that is where we're going to end tonight's
Whoa! Oh my gosh. I will admit to you, I didn't really have audio on during all of that, but during that D4, I could just feel the tension and the surprise on everyone's face as they were reacting to whatever the Dungeon Master had going on there. So crazy. Wow. Love it. I super enjoy showing off all of the fun moments that are happening here on D&D Live. On the D&D Twitch.tv/D&D channel. If there are ways there you can nominate some of your favorite moments from this week on the Twitch channel, and the way to do that is to use the Twitch interface. Sometimes you can use the clip in the interface there, make a clip, share it on social media. More views and things that those get will allow our esteemed editor, Steve Sprinkles, to see which ones are the most viewed and use then his editorial decision-making skills on picking out which ones make the most sense to put into this week's D&D Rewind. So it all comes from you, and if you want to shout out some really great moments, that's the best way to do it. Wait. What's happening? Can you guys hear me? Oh, yes. Right, exactly. It's like, I don't know what's happening, but it looked like everyone was excited. Sorry. I'm doing that thing where I'm like trying to glance and read things quickly, TK, so apologies. But yes, that was accurate. That was exactly accurate as to what was occurring. Okay, great. So on to fun stuff about Adventurers League, because it's one of my favorite things. The D&D Adventurers League is the official play campaign of Dungeons & Dragons, which means that you can create an Adventurers League character and bring it to your friendly local game store, a convention, some charity events, even your own home, at the top of the Chrysler Building, in the basement of your evil cave complex. I don't know why I put evil. How about just cool cave complex where you live? Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. You can play there, and an Adventurers League makes total sense. There's some news that is coming out right now about Adventurers League, which is a new campaign, D&D Adventurers League Eberron campaign, in celebration of Eberron rising from the last war that was released very recently. It's available now. Great, great book. Super amount of flavor. New. You know, if you folks have been really focusing on the Forgotten Realms, Eberron is a completely new, different flavor. The D&D Adventurers League is a great way to jump in if you're new to all of that lore, using the Oracle of War campaign. It launches on Monday. That's right, very soon. You will be able to download the first adventure, which is called The Nightland, and it will be released on the DM's Guild. More on that later. The characters begin the Tier 1 Spoils of War chapter of the campaign as treasure-seeking scavengers, eking out a rough living by trekking into the Mournland to find lost treasures left behind in the nation of Seer after it was devastated on the Day of Mourning. Important fun note, Keith Baker, the creator of the Eberron campaign setting, tweeted recently, and I thought this was very important, even in the world of Eberron, different cultures and different people and different individuals say the nation of Seer differently, from Seer to Sire to Sere, Any way you want to pronounce it, there's definitely someone who pronounces it that way in the world of Eberron. So you can say it however you want to say it, which I think is a fantastic detail to add to a campaign setting, especially one in which a word can be pronounced in so many different ways. So in case you don't know, the day of mourning is when the entire nation of Seer was destroyed. More than 1 million souls were lost on that one day of mourning, and the entire nation is basically a devastated land. But there's still some evidence of previous civilizations that were there, maybe even some artifacts, maybe even some secrets as to why such a terrible cataclysm erupted and was done at the end of the last war. So very fascinating to have this campaign be about traveling into the Mournland and trying to find out some treasures and things about it. You can go to the dndadventurersleague.org to read more about Oracle of War, including details in the player's guide and information about salvage missions. Listen, and not scare quotes, but just regular quotes. Dungeon Masters will be able to use guidance to provide to create custom salvage missions, bringing their own creativity and personalized storylines to their Oracle of War campaigns. DMs can run their own salvage missions at conventions and game stores without needing approval from campaign staff. This is really cool because it allows some of the fun of dungeon mastering to be inserted into Adventurers League, which I think is really great as long as you follow those guidelines. Another really cool thing about Oracle of War, which isn't mentioned here, but I just like make sure people know about it, is that it is a finite campaign. The Oracle of War has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Many of the campaigns in Adventurers League are kind of open-ended. They don't necessarily have like an end point. You can kind of play until you're stopping to use that character or whatever. But with the Oracle of War campaign, it'll all be self-contained. You can play those adventures and by the end of it have a finished storyline, which I think will add some type of I don't know, it almost makes it feel like a television seasons or limited series of serialized storytelling in which you can have those storylines that you're working on kind of come to an end and be like, all right, we're done. Time to move on to something else. So that's what they're trying with Oracle of War. So it's a great way for you to jump in and learn more about the Eberron setting by participating in this. So part of what we like to do here for Adventurers League is show off some folks playing an Adventurers League thing. These photos come from the Philippines. The Greasy Snitches in the Philippines ran 2 epics on November 16th through 17th. The Assault on Myth Nantar, part of the Dreams of the Red Wizard storyline, and Liar's Night, a fun Halloween-inspired masquerade. Here are some awesome costumes the adventurers came up with. Awesome looking photos. I really love everything about what they were able to put together. Oh, look, it's a flump in an umbrella. That's a genius idea. So cute. All right, so if you would like to send photos of your AL group, I will definitely highlight them here on D&D News. Send them in to community@dndadventurersleague.org for a group shout out on this here program. Include a blurb about your friendly local game store, your state, country, where you're in, or whatever information you feel safe sharing, and we will let everyone know about the awesome events that you are putting on. Okay, so I mentioned the Dungeon Masters Guild. What is it, you might ask, for those of you who are listening at home? DungeonMastersGuild.com lets you publish your Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition creations for fun and profit. It's the only platform where you can publish adventures and supplements within the Forgotten Realms, Ravenloft, Ravnica, and other wizard settings, heroes, and more. There is so much fun, creative, and amazing stuff up on the Dungeon Masters Guild. You should check it out whenever you can. One of the things that's up there is this Infernal Script. It is the font that we use in our marketing as well as depicted in the Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus adventure. You can purchase that now and do some great work in supporting Extra Life by making it happen. So if you want to create your own infernal contracts, that's a great place to start. You can use that script, download it. Again, it's not a huge amount of money, but it goes towards a good cause in Extra Life, and I'll get to that more in a second. But for those of you who are even more fun, some really great holiday themed stuff, The Great Gobbler is available. If you're playing some D&D this weekend on Thanksgiving here in the US, why not play a warlock whose power stems from the Great Gobbler? You have to use that make that sound whenever you're doing this. Within your dreams you have heard its glorious gobble, see its majestic waddle, and felt its gracious talon upon your shoulder. Forsooth, the great gobbler calls you from the stars. Oh, so it's a far stars type of patron here for the warlock. These are tales of a great celestial turkey, strutting amongst the galaxies of the multiverse, looking to bestow power upon those it deems worthy to do so. Here in the Great Gobbler, a new warlock patron, take up the call of the transcendent turkey and be its champion in the mortal world. What a cool, interesting, and comedic, potentially, adventure and or thing to involve in your game. Super fun. The D&D Guild is... D&D Guild. The DM's Guild is full of stuff like this that you might have found in kind of DIY nature of Dungeons & Dragons fandom for decades, right? I mean, the 45 years of history about Dungeons & Dragons have had people creating fun and interesting stuff that might have only seen the light of day at your table or in your town if you're running at a library or something like that before the internet allowed everyone to share it with everyone, and I think that's really cool. So jump in and find out what's going on with the Great Gobbler, and maybe it can be coming to a warlock near you. Speaking of new things coming to warlocks, I'm going to just mention this quickly for those of you who may not know. Unearthed Arcana is our playtest material. We put up a bunch of PDFs under the auspices of Unearthed Arcana to get feedback from players. A lot of them have to do with things we're experimenting with and wanting to see whether or not it works when it meets the stringent opinions of those of you in the Dungeons & Dragons community. There is a lot of new and fun material out there for each of the classes that Dungeons & Dragons has. So I would recommend, if you're interested in new and fun and interesting things from the D&D team, check out Unearthed Arcana and give your feedback. There's a bunch of surveys that went live pretty recently that allow you to say what you think about what you've consumed in these playtests and see how they work and give your opinions, and we collate all that data and respond accordingly by what design gets put in there. There was a really interesting one that just went up this week about Psionics and using separate subclasses for I believe the fighter, the rogue, and the wizard to include psionic material. So check it out and see if that jives with your understanding of how psionics can work. Another fun thing I want to make sure you are aware, there was the amazing, I wish we had that trailer here, I don't think we do. There was an amazing commercial that was produced in Brazil for Renault, the auto maker. You might have seen it going around. I don't think we have it here. No, we've got a lot of other stuff, but not that one. It is a fantabulous live action retelling of what occurs in the Dungeons & Dragons animated cartoon from the 80s. It shows off a lot of those characters and really got people excited about that brand of D&D storytelling. And our partners at Iron Studios, not kind of as a response to that, but just kind of as a fortuitous thing, created D&D cartoon figurines. They are pretty big. They're called, they're from Iron Studios, and these are the boxes. They don't actually have the figurines right here. Those are in a display case here on the D&D office, and I didn't have the key to open them out, to bust them out, or else I would have brought them in here. But this is the Dungeon Master box, and here is a kind of a photo of what they all look like in a diorama type thing. But there's one for each one of the characters in the D&D cartoon, including Sheila, the thief, which was always one of my favorite characters in this cartoon. Really good stuff. If you're interested, or someone in your family is an old school D&D fan and loved that cartoon as much as so many of us did, these might be a good gift to bestow upon them. I don't know, maybe in about 5 weeks, 4 weeks. Check it out. Pretty cool stuff. Again, these are the Dungeon Master and Sheila, but each of the characters in that series have a figurine. Diana the Acrobat? Well, let's go with Acrobat. Hank the Rager, Bobby the Barbarian, plus Uni, Presto the Magician, and Eric the Cavalier. You can get all those right now from Iron Studios, and if you're interested, check them Geez, I said that really fast, but I was like, oh, I have more to say. Oh, and Extra Life. I want to make sure everyone knows about Extra Life. We have raised more than, I want to make sure I get the actual number on here, more than $250,000 raised to date from the D&D Super Team. Thank you to everyone who had participated and been a big part of it. We are blown away by the response every year. We've been doing this, and this is the 7th year that Dungeons & Dragons has participated. Our contribution has grown and grown and grown. Our friends on the Magic side released something called My Little Pony The Galloping, which are some pretty fantastic, Magic themed, My Little Pony themed cards. Those knocked it out of the park and raised more than $700,000 for the Extra Life charity, and putting Wizards of the Coast total contribution above $1 million for 2019 towards the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. It all goes towards the kids. As you may or may not know, a lot of these children's hospitals are dependent on contributions to make sure not only is their healthcare taken care of when kids are there, but that the entire experience of being at a hospital is an enjoyable one. Some of the kids are dealing with chronic illnesses, and the prospect of another trip to the ER or to a specialist can be pretty daunting. And so a lot of the contributions that Extra Life makes goes towards making their stay more amenable by having games or puzzles or artwork or even just supplies, art supplies, so that their stays there, if you don't know, being in a hospital can often be a lot of waiting, a lot of downtime, a lot of stress and anxiety gets associated with all that waiting and downtime. So having games and things to occupy the mind while you're waiting for some of those results is a really, really important thing. So that's where your contribution to Extra Life goes to. We really appreciate it, and we're really excited. I still have my Extra Life page up. I did one interview last week with Rob Toohey, fantastic person. He had contributed $2,500 towards Extra Life in order to have that interview. We've got 2 more of those scheduled for Dragon Talk coming up in the next few months. But I'm still leaving that up until the end of the year. So if you are interested in doing that, please go to my Extra Life page and make a contribution. There is a lesser amount there, I think $1,500, if you would like to do a call-in conversation with me and Shelly on Dragon Talk. And then at a lesser moment, you can donate $100, and I will read aloud about 100 words of your choosing within reason. I'm not going to say anything gross or offensive, of course, but if you want to give shout-outs to your gaming crew or anything at all, I will read that aloud, and that will be broadcast live here on twitch.tv/D&D when we record Dragon Talk, as well as on the RSS feed, which goes out to tens of thousands of people each week. So that's pretty cool. And you can do that all by helping the kids. So good stuff all around there. And then there are way more people on the D&D team that are offering even cooler rewards out there. I know Nathan Stewart has a bunch that are at a much higher price point, but much cooler. Jump into those. Bart Keller is fantastic. Then, of course, on Dungeon Masters Guild, there are a lot of different things that you can interact with to get D&D content that was specifically designed for raising money towards Extra Life. There's a few up there, including a Lokatha race, which I believe, I don't know if I'm breaking any news here, but I believe Chris Lindsay has said it is now raised enough money to make it an Adventurers League legal character race. So you can play as a Lokatha in Adventurers League now due to everyone's contributions to Extra Life. So thank you for that. And there's a lot more ways that you can interact with it there. So look for it. Again, those go up for the rest of the year, but I enjoy it all. All right. And then, of course, one of the coolest things was that we got to reunite with our Clerical Air cast a few weeks ago. Lauren Oboe Crazy was kind enough to Dungeon Master for that entire crew. That was in celebration of everything Extra Life, and that was super fun. And more excuses for that going forward. I just basically want to eat meat and cheese under the hot lights while making my friends laugh on a live stream playing D&D. And I love every opportunity I get to do that. So cheers to all of you. Da-da-da. All right. Well, that's my time. I think I'm done. I think we made it through. I am very excited about everyone here who was able to hang out with me during chat. You guys are all fantastic. I would love for you to have a great rest of the week. I know many of you are from other countries, so you don't necessarily celebrate Thanksgiving, but take this moment to give thanks to everything that this D&D community means to you, as well as to everyone who is a member. We just keep growing and growing, getting the word out about how wonderful this community is and how much this game means to so many people from so many different walks of life. And I don't know. I've been ending all of these D&D newses on a real sentimental note, so you know that the holidays are coming. I'm going to have some more chocolate soul coins. I'll consume the coins of all of you, and all of you? No, maybe is this yours? I don't know. Happy holidays, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye bye.